Welcome back to Dolphins United, the platform for Dolphins. You heard me. We back in the house. Got a video for y'all. Told y'all I'll be back on Tuesday. We are here. It's Tuesday. All right. Man of the people. There was maybe not a subscriber, but he frequents the channel that mentioned that I should have wore this shirt on Sunday. Well, I got it on a little late, but it's on now. All right. This is the troll shirts from last year that I had made that are on my website. I got some new troll shirts coming out. All right. And when they come out, of course, I'll be wearing them and then I'll let you know. But yeah, once those come out, and the website's kind of down right now, but once I put the website back up, I'll let you know. And then I'll let you know about the new merch that's on there, especially the new troll shirts. And then we'll go from there. All right. Hopefully you buy. But anyway, the joke of the day. The Patriots. All right. We're not talking about the Patriots right now. What we're going to talk about for the next few minutes is Tua. Go figure. But more or less, rather than just talking about Tua, I'm going to talk to you about some bad habits you don't want to have if you're watching film. All right? If you're one of the type of people that will be dissecting film, don't have these bad habits, because we find ourselves beating up on quarterbacks, players, when we don't have all of the facts. All right. We just simply don't. All right. We don't have all the facts. So don't have these bad habits when you're watching film of somebody. OK, here's one for you. You're watching a play. You see X is open, but the quarterback threw it to Y. But X is wide open, and the quarterback looked at Y. Y was open, he threw it to Y. Although X could have got him 50 yards, he threw it to Y, who only got him 10. Then you pause it right when the quarterback is getting ready to throw. You look at the film and you're like, oh my gosh, X was wide open. It would have been a touchdown. Yeah, he threw it to Y, and he got the 10-yard completion. But if he would have just looked at X, he would have got a touchdown. Bad habit. A lot of us do it. It's a horrible habit. If you're going to watch film and you don't have all of the evidence and you don't know what's going on, it'll mess you up. All right. Every quarterback will look trash at that point, unless they had the perfect game. And the perfect game more than likely does not exist. Here's the thing that you have to understand when you're watching film, when you're watching the all 22, and when you're watching all of the highlights and everything like that, and you see flaws in quarterback play. You don't know what the first read was. This is the biggest thing when it comes to watching film. All right? You don't know what the first read is. Period. I'm going to tell you what the first read is. The first read is whoever the quarterback looks at first. Now, in Madden, all right, let's take this all the way back elementary. In Madden, you have a play. You hit the L trigger, or where if I'm an Xbox guy, so you hit the L trigger, or you hit L2 if you have a PS5 or a PS4 or whatever, PlayStation type person, and then they'll pull up the play art. Now, when you're looking at the play art, you'll see all these yellow lines going across the field, and then you'll see one red line. That red line is the primary wide receiver for that play. That's your first read. That means that the play is supposed to and is designed to get that person open. That's in Madden. In real life, same ordeal. You have a play concept. You have your number 1, your number 2, and your number 3 progressions. If the quarterback says hike, and Y is the number 1 progression, and Y is open, although it's a 10-yard play, That means the play was supposed to go to Y. If Y is open, I'm not going to take the time to look at X because X doesn't matter because my first read is Y. I'm going to Y. Yes, X could have got me 50 yards, but how can I see X if I'm looking at Y and Y is wide open? How? If I'm looking at Y, he's my number one read, and it's wide open, I'm throwing it to Y. I'm not even going to see X. I'm not even going to look that way because Y is open. The only reason a quarterback will ever come off their first read, there's two reasons actually. The quarterback will come off their first read if Y is not open, or if they see something pre-snap that tells them that X is going to be wide open, so forget Y, I'm going to X. That's it. If the play is for Y and Y is not open, I'm going to my number two. If my number two is X and he's wide open, I need to get him the football. But I'm going to only go to X if Y is not open. That's it. If Y is open and it's for 10 yards, it happens to be for 10 yards. That's what the play was designed for. That's why they were the primary wide receiver. Now, there'll be times where a quarterback is looking off the safety and then he goes to his primary. All right? Those are the things we don't know about as well. So sometimes you'll see them look in a direction and then you'll see them flip their eyes to another direction. You're like, well, his first read was over here. No, his first read wasn't over here because he was looking off the safety to get to this player, but he had to look over here so he can move the safety and get to his primary. Those things happen as well. All right, we don't have all the facts. We're looking at the plays. Sometimes we don't know what the concept is. The first play to Tyreek Hill, everybody thought it was a streak to Tyreek Hill that we just missed on. Happened to be two comebacks. Tua threw it to where he thought Tyreek Hill was going to be. Mind you, he threw the ball before Tyreek Hill declared he was going deep. All right? When you look at it and you freeze it, the ball is coming out before Tyreek Hill declared he was going deep. So that means he was anticipating the comeback that Tyreek was supposed to do. So he put the ball in a spot where if Tyreek would have came back or actually stopped and started coming back, he would have caught the ball. But because he saw a broken coverage, he decided to go deep. Now, Tua could have been on the same page with Tyreek Hill and thrown that ball deep for a touchdown. That would have been the best thing to do. But instead, what he did was the actual play itself, which was calling for Tyreek Hill to turn back around, come back towards the quarterback. He would have caught the ball. He would have been tackled more than likely. It would not have been a touchdown. It is what it is. But that's the play call. That's what the play call wanted. Now, would you have liked Tua in that moment to realize, oh, shoot, there's nothing but open grass. Let me lead him out front? Yes, but Tua didn't do that. He played that play by the book, and that's the result he got. All right? Let's not make the mistake of acting as if we know what the progression is. If the quarterback is looking at a wide receiver first, that's number one. Now, if that wide receiver is not open, you need to be able to get to number two and number three fast. That's what Tua has a problem doing from time to time. When he's looking at the number one wide receiver and it's not open and then not getting to X who is wide open fast enough. And then you miss the window or you hesitate. All right? That's the problem that we have. And we see that a lot. If that first wide receiver is not open, then now we can talk about, oh my gosh, X was wide open. How did you not throw it to him? But if Y is open, guaranteed you're throwing it to Y because he's the number one progression. You're not even going to look at X. You don't have time to look at X's way because Y is the progression. Now, if they're both on the same side of the field, let's say X and Y are on the same side of the field and you're supposed to pick one of the two because sometimes you have reads where it's dictated by the defender. All right, you're looking at a defender. If he goes high, you take the underneath. If he goes low, you take the over. If you make the wrong decision there, criticize it. That's what you criticize, all right? But if you're going to criticize a concept where you have a 1, 2, and 3, and it's not necessarily just predicated on where a defender is, you can't criticize those because the guy was wide open. If your first progression is wide open, you throw it to your first progression, all right? That's the way it's supposed to work because it's a timing-based offense, and if you're off and you don't throw it to that first progression that is wide open, you might not have time to get to the second guy because you don't know what's going on around you. You're looking over here, you don't know what this offensive line is doing. You take the guaranteed 10. You take it. We could freeze the tape all we want and say, oh my gosh, but the quarterback doesn't have eyes in the back of his head. You try it. You look over here and tell me you can see a guy way back here wide open. Try it. Just look. Look over here, point over here. Do you see your finger? No. Let's go ahead and bring your finger all the way around and see where you finally see. I finally see it right now. That's not enough field vision. All right? That's not enough field vision. Let's be realistic. Let's be realistic, please, guys. All right? For the love of God, let's please be realistic when we're looking at tape. That's one. Two, you got to understand that a quarterback, just because he feels like, or you feel like he could throw it to a spot, doesn't necessarily mean he's in that place to throw it. Okay? If you see a wide receiver going down the field, for example, and he's wide open, and you see a defensive lineman coming in, here's what we'll do. We'll freeze it. Oh my gosh. Right now, he has to let the ball go out of his hand right now to throw that ball. If he does it right now, it's a touchdown. When you're playing football in real time and you see a defender coming at you, you might not have the time to process, especially a guy like Tua, who is a mid-tier quarterback, okay? You might not have the time to wind up and throw that ball that deep with that guy bearing down on you or coming at you from behind, because what if he tips the ball on your release and then it's a fumble? You got to understand that some of these guys are playing the percentages. Do I have enough time to get that ball there with my arm talent, and will I potentially cause a turnover trying to do so? Now, Tua doesn't have that problem, honestly speaking, all right? Because Tua just decides that he's going to throw the ball while he's getting hit anyway and has these near fumbles. All right, he did like 2 times. He did it like twice on Sunday. So we're not necessarily talking about Tua, but we need to keep that in perspective, that when the defenders are near, the quarterbacks have that on their mind that, hey, I need to be careful with the football. So they're sometimes gun shy if the defender is near. We can't just pause it, all right, and the defender has stopped, and then you're looking around the field to see who the open guy is. Now, does Tua need to find his hot faster sometimes? Yes, he does. Does Tua need to sometimes take the deeper rather than the shorter sometimes? Yes, he does. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a defender coming, a free rusher coming, and you pausing it because you felt like he should have gone over here to the open guy that would have got us a guaranteed touchdown when he can't do so when you unpause it. All right? Because that guy is coming. All right? We got to stop with this stuff. Okay? It's okay to criticize. It's okay to want Tua to be better. It's okay to look at the game film and try to make things out of it. But we have to also understand that sometimes we don't know the concepts. We don't know who is running a brother route, all right? Which a brother route is a guy that's going down the field for no reason at all just to get somebody else open. We don't know if that's the case and it's just a busted coverage and he was the third progression because he wasn't even supposed to be open. We don't know if that's the case. We don't know if it's something else. We have no idea, all right? We have no idea. We're just looking at film, all right? We don't know sometimes we don't even know what the concepts are, all right? We don't even know that much. Or what routes a receiver is supposed to be open. Sometimes a receiver gets wide open and he wasn't even supposed to run that route. He messed up, but he happens to be open. We don't know, all right? And then we blame that on the quarterback. Oh my gosh, this guy was wide open. He wasn't even supposed to be over there. He heard B flat instead of Z flat. You know what I'm saying? So we got to stop. Take it easy. Sometimes we're looking at tape and we see guys wide open. The quarterback didn't pull the trigger. There's got to be a reason. All right? Now, Tua does need to be better. That doesn't take away from the fact that Tua needs to be better, but Tua didn't play like trash. He did not. Tua was not trash. He was average. All right. Did we win the game? Yes. With average? Yes. Will we win the next game with average? Probably not. We're going to need better than that. Tua will look at the film, and if he's not better next week, then we know that we might not have the guy. Okay, we might not. And then if he continues to do the same thing over the next few weeks, then we know for sure we ain't got that guy. And once again, like I said, at the beginning of the season, or well, not when it's still the beginning of the season, but like I said before the season started, if Tua shows himself not to be the guy, I will be the biggest Tua hater of you all. Period. I'm telling you right now, I will take this jersey down. I'm going to go buy a merino jersey, same color. Just put the 3 on the side there. It'll be a merino jersey, because I know that quarterback can't fail me, because he was one of the greatest of all time. All right? I will be one of the biggest haters, but we're not there yet. Some of you were there, and some of you want to nitpick and feel like if Tua is a trash quarterback because of the last game when he had 104 rating. You can do that if you want. I'm going to be realistic. I'm going to try to understand that I don't understand everything and not act like I know exactly what's going on all of these plays, like some of the people that actually have played football know. And I'm going to keep everything in perspective. All right? I'm not going to freeze every play and just say, oh my gosh, he should have thrown it here when he was the third progression and Tua had a wide open first progression. I can't do that. We can't do that. That's not fair to the quarterback, because every quarterback is going to throw wide open to their first progression. Once again, unless they have the foresight to realize that their third progression, who is supposed to be their third progression on the play, is going to be wide open because of a breakdown in defensive coverage. If you have the foresight, and it takes years to have that foresight more than likely, then that's fine. But you're going to throw it to your first progression majority of the time if he's wide open. And that happens a lot in football, where your first progression is wide open because the play is designed to get your first read open. It's designed to do so. All right. Unless your first read is just a flat player and you're supposed to get 2 or 3 yards and you decide you want to go somewhere else with the football, most of the time you're going to go to that first progression if he's wide open. That's the way football works. All right. You're supposed to go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 if they're all 5 eligible wide receivers on the play. All right. That's the way it works. And usually you don't get to 5. Most plays you'll have 2. Some plays you'll have 3 progressions. And the third being your check down. All right. That's usually how it works, because not everybody's going to be open on a particular play. There are some plays that Tua missed because he didn't get off his first read fast enough that wasn't open. All right. And he was waiting for him to get open. Those are the ones where Tua needs to do better. All right. We're not saying Tua doesn't need to do better. Those are the ones he needs to do better at, though. All right. Not the ones where his first progression receiver is open. It's the ones where he's not open yet and Tua's not looking around. He's waiting for that guy to get open so he misses an opportunity for a touchdown. Or if the play breaks down, nobody's open and Tua doesn't pull the trigger on any guy that's wide open, where he has time to set his feet and throw the ball because he has a decent enough pocket to do so, or decent time before he had pressure. Those are not the ones we're talking about, because that happens a lot too, where Tua, for whatever reason, doesn't pull the trigger and he has a chance to because his first progression wasn't open, his second wasn't open, and he just needs to find somebody and he holds onto the football and takes a sack for no reason. He did that on Sunday. Those are the ones we criticize, all right, because you saw his head move around, or you saw him stare at a guy that wasn't open and didn't go through his progressions. We get it. But if he's throwing to that first receiver and you're like, man, that was a good play because he still threw it to this guy, I'm cool with that, but stop it. Knock it off. All right. Knock it off, because we don't know what his progression was. All right. Now, if he wasn't throwing to his first progression, which we don't know, then you can criticize it if you know that, but you don't know that because we're not part of the team to know that. So just trust, hey, his first progression was open. He threw it to his first progression. It don't matter what happened on the backside because he's not looking that way. He can't look that way because his first progression was wide open. All right. That's all I wanted. I wanted to rant about that because we saw a lot of this stuff last year where people were just foaming at the mouth about stuff they had no business knowing. All right. We can all feel like we're experts when we're watching film if we want to, but truth of the matter is we don't know what we don't know. All right. And that's just plain and simple. Let me talk about another thing. Accuracy. Ball placement. Sometimes we're expecting the quarterback to be on the money all the time. All right. We're expecting the ball to be out front because, that's where it should be. Yes, every quarterback, if he could, would throw it on the money out front every time. Sometimes your feet aren't allowed to be set because you have to get the ball off at an awkward angle. Sometimes you got to put a little less on the ball so it doesn't allow you to be as accurate. Sometimes you got to put a little more on the ball so it doesn't allow you to be as accurate. Sometimes you got to loft it. Sometimes there's a lot going on plays. All right. Sometimes your feet can't get set. There's a lot going on plays. Any little thing that messes you up can mess with your accuracy. So don't be over criticizing a quarterback because he didn't put it here instead of here. All right. We can't over criticize. Now, if his feet are set and he had time to throw that ball accurately, criticize that. But if you see he's a little off, couldn't set his feet, things like that, it happens on plays because that's the way football is. You're moving at a fast speed. All right. So everything has to happen very quickly for you so the pass can be perfect. Okay. The one he threw to Waddle, he threw it before Waddle even broke. And Waddle scored a touchdown on it. That was perfect. Everything was perfect around Tua. He put the ball on the money right where you need it. He split those guys. Waddle split those guys, ran for a touchdown. We can't talk about that. It was perfect. All right. But there are other passes that may not be perfect. And we need to understand that just because they're not perfect doesn't mean that, he's trash or, he should have put it here instead of here. Maybe that's all he could. That's the only place he could have put it because his feet couldn't be set because somebody was coming or he had to put a different angle on it. Something like that. We don't know what we don't know. All right. We got to take all that into consideration. Also, we have to take into consideration maybe the quarterback was actually putting the ball on the back shoulder so he doesn't have his wide receiver get killed by the defensive guy. Oh, if he would have put it out here. Yeah, but if he would have put it out here, maybe there's a chance that it could either get picked off or the guy could get his hand on it, or he could get his wide receiver killed. Maybe he put it on the back shoulder to not lead the guy on purpose. What if that's the case? All right? What if that's the case? Oh, he threw a back shoulder. If he would have thrown it over the shoulder, what if he wanted to throw a back shoulder? Maybe he's not being inaccurate. Maybe he wanted to throw a back shoulder, and that's the judgment he chose. All right? We're going to call him inaccurate because the ball was underthrown? No, he threw a back shoulder pass. All right. So we have to keep all of these things in perspective. It's not that you can't criticize Tua. It's not that we can't watch film and point things out, but we have to keep everything that we're pointing out in perspective because we don't know what the play call is. We don't know what the progression is. Plain and simple. I'll holler at y'all in the next one. Y'all already know what it is. Fins up till we die. Till we die, man. 1-0. All right, we jumped all the way up to like 13 from 19, all right, in the power rankings on NFL.com. That don't mean nothing. It's only one game. But we're starting to get a little more respect. And we deserve it because Tua is 4-0, and I'll put up the picture right here where we own this team now. All right, I'll holler at y'all in the next one. Y'all already know what it is. Love y'all. I'm out.